I would say, then it's a really good opportunity like for everyone to be able to to be part of it as early as possible. And yeah, I mean, thanks to you guys and for the interest and also with partnering with YGG. And like we do have a very supportive community, especially with all these play to earn, play and earn games. Is a BR game like this, with an IP that's very out of this world, I would say. This pushes like the potential even further, to have a very solid game that everyone would enjoy. But I mean, just backing track, just going back a bit, I would like to. 50, okay, that makes sense. But then like amongst you guys, like who are the immediate people who are the big boys in the NYAN Heroes game. Would love to know more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty decent sized team at the moment, considering that we kind of started everything, just after the middle of last year. Close to 50 people at the moment. And, we do for now have a relatively flattish org structure, for example, and intermediate level sort of devs working for us as well. And then of course, we have everyone in the marketing team and the web. I guess in reference to some of the leadership team, for example, that with our creative director Tor and our lead producer Liam, those are the two guys that I guess have been around for quite some time. And Tor is just amazing creative director. His vision is just out of this world, and he is so in tune with the creative teams and the artwork and the sort of just the overall vision and design behind the project. And so, he obviously comes from a AAA background. He's had, a ton of many years in the industry. He was the creative director at Marvel's Avengers out in Crystal Dynamics, but also responsible for games like Rise of the Tomb Raider and the Hitman series. So yeah, he's just amazingly talented guy to have on board. And Liam, is sort of 20-year plus sort of veteran in the space, managing massive teams, of 600 to 800 people, and just sort of scaling them and setting out the infrastructure as a proud project as well. And those are, I guess, everyone on the team is just crazily talented. And I think what we've been able to create so far in our cinematics, which was mostly done in half time, is just amazing to see.
And if you want to.
Sorry,
I just want to jump in. And if you want to jump in and really get to know, the process and everything behind the development and how we came up with the cinematic trailer, etc., with releasing, the behind the scenes of everything on our Medium blog. So Tor writes a lot about how we come up with concepts and things like that on our Medium blog, but also we'll be releasing regular YouTube videos that Josh is working on as well, where you can really see the behind the scenes journey of creating this AAA game. And we think that's important to include the community really with the journey and the process that we're going through, because a lot of the times you never see this side of the production process.
And to just give a little slice of just kind of how our team has been, working together, right? For example, on the off to marketing team to just then brand and market. From the get-go, we really had every single department kind of coming together, right? To not only create this gameplay demo, but also to see like how are we going to make this available to the NYAN Heroes community. And that's something that I've absolutely loved, right? When working on this team is just how interconnected and how collaborative everybody has been so far. And so I feel like that's something that's really special about our team, is just how from the inception, we really try and get everybody involved. And I think so far it's been able to allow us to create some great product and some great content so far. So I also just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, a big part of of how the product turns out is how strong the team is, and like from what I see and like from what we hear is that like you guys are very well bonded with each other. You do have your strengths and everyone complements each other's roles. I mean, you even if I'm not mistaken, like Mechs, you came from EDC just recently, and I mean, was this one of your field trips with the whole team?
Oh. I actually that was Josh. Yeah,
that was Josh.
Okay, I was the NYAN ambassador. Yeah, EDC, that was insane. So we actually were selected as one of the exclusive NFT projects to be showcasing our NFTs on the EDC grounds. This is the first time that EDC has ever done something like this before, and it was a really, really cool space. They set it up right next to the main entrance. So as soon as you walked in to EDC, you looked to your right, there's this giant, lit up mushroom field, right? Very EDC. And in the middle of it, they had these, giant pillars that showcased our digital NFT art. And so for that, we actually showcased our unique, we actually created an NFT just for the EDC festival, and we called it the Electric Daisy Neon, right? Just to keep it in brand. And it was just this like neon cat that was kind of vibing along.
And, fireworks, everything.
Yeah, fireworks.
Oh yeah.
Glasses, fireworks in the background. And so for us, I arrived with my camera just to take photos and to capture some content, right, for our social media. But I was completely blown away. I've never been to EDC before, nor to like a festival. So I really didn't know what to expect. And it was just massive, like absolutely massive. There was stages everywhere. There was rides, carnivals, the lights. It was EDC. They really, really did an amazing job throwing an awesome festival. And I think they really also did a really good job, right? Showcasing these NFTs, putting them in a prominent place and getting people exposed to like, what's an NFT? And this gave me a perfect opportunity to be like, oh, here it is. This is what it's about. So it was an awesome experience. We really got some good content for it. And it was an awesome collaboration with EDC. Definitely something that we'd love to do again in the future.
For sure. I mean, music festivals and GameFi projects and all of these cyberpunk futuristic concepts just make perfect sense for like a tournament or like an event where the whole venue with with their own IPs. It's gonna be, I think that's what the physical representation of the metaverse is going to be looking like, the tech side of things, which I believe.
Dive in there. I mean, you guys have obviously chose coming out on Solana, though. We're kind of yet to see like a massive breakout success. Hopefully, that's going to be you guys, right?
Of course,
I'd love to hear a little bit. I'd love to hear a little bit about the thought process behind choosing Solana, and do you think that it's going to really need to ask the kind of L2 question? So we'd love to.
Absolutely. I think when we started out on this journey in the blockchain gaming space, and make a real world impact. And so one of the considerations that came into our sort of choice of chain was the fact that Solana was building as a layer 1, a native sort of monolithic chain that could kind of do everything, right? So like scale without needing any additional sort of infrastructure and scaling solution support. And on top of that, it was actually a carbon neutral chain, and so that actually played a decent role as well. For us, I think we saw a number of other projects building on Solana, including games like Star Second, that was advertised as extremely attractive because we want to prioritize user experience first, and we certainly don't want to sort of bogging up the network, right? And that would lead them to launch on Solana our initial NFT collection, and on top of that, they obviously provided us a lot of support as well by Solana. So it was just a combination of all of those factors. I think at the end of the day, what we are seeing in the space is this sort of transition into, multi-chain sort of futures. And I think everyone is talking about it. And there are a lot of projects working on solutions and tools to kind of make that possible. And so I think, no matter where projects, including us, start and build on in the beginning, I think what it eventually will look like is that, all assets and NFTs will eventually be available and tradable, etc. on most I guess chains, L1s, L2s, whatever it happens to be, whether you're EVM compatible or not. I think eventually we'll all be part of one giant sort of ecosystem. And there are some great projects sort of working on that as well, including things. First and currently only collection is on Solana, and we're very happy. But we're also looking to have infrastructural support for multi-chain solutions down the track.
Awesome. That's great to hear that you're considering multi-chain at some stage. I'm very much along the same lines, a kind of multi-chain utopianist is the term I like to use. Though, we can imagine that, like, obviously, there's some very kind of ETH-centric people that, very, go towards the idea of like ETH2 being a kind of massive movement in a direction of you know, like a lot of people, they like having side chains, they like having all these different things. So I think a lot of this stuff will coexist, and I'm definitely a kind of multi-chain believer for sure, absolutely. Obviously, like as YGG and playing the game, are we going to be? I'd love to see like. You know, I know there's different modes in say Fortnite or Warzone, for example. Is it could we ever see a world where there's like a kind of 20v20 guild v guild massive mashup? Is that something that we can potentially look forward to?
Wow.
Look, you never know, right? Like, we have the option of creating multiple different game modes. You know, so just because we're doing a battle royale right now doesn't mean we can't have, you know, a mod, for example, where it's sort of 5v5 deathmatch or
Let's go.
anything is possible.
With like maybe the cats in Mechs ride on other cats. No, I don't know.
Cats in mechs piloting other mechs with cats.
I think, you know, in terms of initially, you know, whether YGG would be able to participate. Of course, you know, I mean, anyone can participate, even own an NFT to even play the game. We're going to provide a free sort of character for everyone to use, and initially there'll just be one, but eventually we'll create a few that people can choose from. And so through that character, you'll be able to play all our game modes and experience everything that NYAN Heroes has to offer and start earning some rewards. But, you know, of course, YGG being one of our earliest supporters, you know, not only in terms of investment, but also in our NFT supply, you know, you'll have that sort of, I guess, access to everything that we have to offer, early access, as I mentioned, wallet, and then you'll be able to use those you'll have in-game assets to play around with, you know, and to use. But I think, you know, even beyond that sort of more high level, I kind of see guilds taking on more and more of kind of like an esports role as we sort of look out into the future. And so, you know, us being a sort of PvP skill-based shooter, I think it lends itself very well to an esports component. And in fact, that is one key area of focus that we plan on sort of building out down the track, is an esports, you know, aspect. So when it comes to guilds, that would be amazing.
I think also part of that question was like, is there some kind of as part of the kind of core game?
Yeah, so, you know, basically we plan on implementing a lending system, a sort of like a borrowing and lending system within our own game. I know a lot of the borrowing and lending and the scholarship sort of models that are currently out there are done sort of external, using, you know, your own sort of infrastructure. But, you know, we plan on having that basically done in game for us, and, you know, through that we'll be able to automate a lot automatically, and even
if not this year, you know, yet to even scratch the surface of what's possible in this space. And I kind of foresee a world in which, you know, guilds are going to have so much choice and economies. Is how are we going to kind of, you know, take that data and that kind of from all that data that gamers are producing from participating in games, and how can we analyze that to make really solid decisions? So I think it's games that kind of provide the tooling internally within, you know, take it on themselves to kind of, you know, be able to provide valuable insights into like which players are doing the best, who's getting the best rate of return. They're going to really, you know, draw in the most I think attention from guilds and also from other players and player investors and all types of different participants in the space as a whole, because I think that kind of data and analytics is going to become hugely meaningful. So great to hear that you guys are doing that. And I think it speaks to a kind of watch this space kind of moment. I think we're going to see a huge amount of like third parties trying to aggregate data, and I think data is going to be hugely important. So great to hear that you guys are definitely thinking about that component already.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And also, right, so is the kind of primary game mode going to be like all v all, like 100 players down to one, so got solo kind of battle royale, or is there going to be like duos, trios, quads, kind of very much in the same format as Fortnite, or what's the
production? But for now, the model that we're working with is a 60-person lobby and 20 teams of 3. So basically, you know, similar to Apex Legends kind of structure. that is the game mode that we're going to be, I guess, modeling off for now. And then, things may or may not change depending on, testing and sort of feedback from players, QA, simulations and things like that. But I think having that team element baked in to the core aspects of gameplay is going to be really important, especially as we move into more of like a social kind of player based mentality, even when it comes to sort of shooters, right, which is traditionally sort of single player. I guess Jumpstart will help that, and ideally having things like voice comms and whatnot to elevate that, and really think that eventually play working off first.
Nice. The game, and I mean, Apex successor here. Is an opportunity for also for guilds. As much as Web 2 and Web 3 games are most of understanding that's needed for blockchain games, and also there are also different applications that Web 3 and the tech that I say I couldn't say it better. Will be two different animals. I mean, a lot of similarities in other ways, but like there is going to be a whole new industry that will be bagging the championships, first, second, and fourth place. Shout out to Mike for bagging that title. It is the biggest live tournament for any Web3 game for esports, and we want to keep that momentum going. So we are also transitioning. We are investing in esports for Thetan Arena, and whatever games are thrown into and through the Web3 battlefield, YGG will be part of that. And you can't expect the NYAN Heroes team can't expect us to be actively sticking our heads into that window of opportunity for anything that is presented there. I know maybe even me jump in and play a couple of games, maybe quit Apex full time and just play your game fully. But I mean, yeah. So like,
yes, please.
I myself, let's say, I want to get started, I want to participate in the NYAN Heroes ecosystem. What are the first few steps that the community has to know? And yeah, just, get a head start for everyone.
Yeah, so
I'm going to...
Oh, go ahead, Wendy.
Go Josh. No,
you want me to answer this one? All right, for sure.
Yeah, you answer it. You take it.
Yeah, so for us, our dream, right, for this game is we definitely want it to be like as little barrier entry as possible, especially for the Web 2 gamer community, right? That the game, right? And so for us, right, if a player wants to play for free, they will be given a free Neon and a free Guardian. And so with that, they'll be able to play the game. And as they're playing, they will be given Guardian parts, Guardian cores, and they'll start to be able to give them new parts and new abilities and new classes. And so for us, right, if somebody's coming into the game, zero experience, right, in Web 3, they'll still be able to play the Battle Royale style just as fine. And these parts and these tokens that they'll collect will just go into their wallets that, once they start getting curious and more invested in the game, they'll be able to quickly figure out and be able to use, right, to get ahead and to develop and level up in the game. If a player wants to go in and start getting into the Web3 Access Pass and those 2 free Guardian Mech drops, very much part of our marketing. That's very much aligned with our mission too, is bridging that gap and making sure that Web 2 gamers that are going to be coming in from the Apex.
I'm gonna have to ask this question from the community here. Do the
well, kind of. They come from a land called Nikovia, so I guess they're Nikovian. I guess that's my take part in our next current Mech drop. Don't want to do that. Please follow our Twitter, join our Discord, get involved with the community. We always love to hear your suggestions and and everything. While stuff is like
yeah, just to confirm, right? So NFT holders are going to be granted early access to the game, right?
Correct. Yes,
Yes,
that is
correct.
one of the many perks that we have in store.
Awesome. And yeah, so for those in the Discord chat, so we want to remind everyone that we still have a few more minutes with the team here, and make sure to jot those questions down so we can ask them directly. But yeah, so I have a follow-up question from the community here. So Joshua Eisen is asking here, let me flash it on screen. So he's asking about details on an in-game NFT art gallery.
Okay, that is definitely an interesting question. I think if we're talking about art galleries, in game, I'm not actually sure what we're referring to here, but if we're talking about an actual art gallery, I think this could actually play into our virtual world that we're creating, because we're creating spaces for people that I guess between gameplay sort of modes to just hang out and kind of hang out in their own virtual space, hang out in their home, hang out in their sort of land plot, and basically could, and you could sort of use it as a display for all of your journey as a sort of NFT in the NFT gaming space. I think if he's referring to like an in-game marketplace, kind of like a gallery as well, like a collection. Was that a cat that I heard?
Yeah,
then...
sorry. That's me.
Very sensitive to cat sounds. Ownership of all their assets and do whatever they want with them, basically.
This whole metaverse where all the for the game. So we have the NFTs. Can we expect accessories like, let's say, keychains in Apex Legends, or guns in Apex Legends, or even suits and upgrade
weapons, whether it's an extra keychain add on to the gun, or whether it's a completely sort of new skin, or whether it's an extra sort of bodies themselves. So designing them as sort of like seasonal skins, so they will actually have a limited supply, they'll be scarce, and they'll be tied in to the kind of winning certain tournaments, winning game modes, but also a subset that are just found randomly on the map, and so basically that was out. So then they'll end up becoming vintage skins, and no more will ever be created. So for the collectors out there, they can either collect them, or they can sort of invest in them and sort of aim to sort of see if they can kind of do a bit of trading around them to see if they can make a bit of money. That's also whatever you want.
Nice.
I do like the idea of this kind of it's really taking on the concept of what we have seen with Fortnite, so again it's kind of playing to adopt this kind of thing, and I think potentially adds weight to what could potentially be a more sustainable, assuming that like the trading of vintage skins somehow adds value back into the kind of play to earn component of the game. One, economically successful, it's successful because people are putting in money all the time into the battle pass, they're putting money into skins, they're putting money into V-Bucks and so on, and if they literally turned on the tap to start like giving back rewards to like the top players, you could imagine their user would grow, have the game experience be on par, or have its own kind of be as viable, similarly viable. You have a huge you value and kind of interesting question. So if I'm a kind of Web 2 gamer, is there some way that like you guys could, are you going to be accepting just like fiat as a like if people are wallets?
We're thinking about it, and something that would be rather important to us is to have multiple sort of options. So whether that is fiat, whether that's via a credit card, for example, whether it's via USDC or Sol or USDT or ETH or Bitcoin or whatever that happens to be. Well, probably not Bitcoin. But I think we're definitely looking to all the sort of different payment gateway options, and that includes ensure is that there are no barriers to things using
gamers into Web3, providing that option. But I mean, talking about the NFTs here, so do these traits have any
as all access VIP passes? And so the traits themselves, the things that you see here with the background being a moon, or the eyes being pleading, or there's a fish in the mouth, right? It's about the NFT, which means that the land pre-sales that they get access to, and the quality of the land plots that they get access to. So that is the main thing to look out for, is just the rarity trait, maybe as cosmetic items in game.
Well, like right now, we see that like these NFTs are they're 2D artworks, but the game is actually in 3D. So will we be skins, or will they vary?
Are you referring to these current NFTs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the moment, the playable characters that we actually have are the mechs themselves.
The mechs, okay.
So these ones are, they really should just be thought of as
PFPs,
your PFP sort of VIP mid passes, if possible, cosmetics, or if they're as now is just the playable characters in the mechs.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, speaking of mechs, so you mentioned that the NFT holders right now are going to be entitled to the airdrops, right? So
yes.
How does it work? So let's say, for example, I have an uncommon NFT only for legendary NFT holders.
Now, what we've decided is that it's basically just like a one-to-one kind of arrangement. So if you have a common Genesis NFT, you'll also get a common Guardian Mech. And if you have a rare Genesis NFT, you'll also get a rare Guardian Mech. It's only just because, you know, there was already a layer of RNG holders into various categories of common, sort of uncommon involved. Was kind of everything else from that point onwards will be a one-to-one. So basically, if you go onto the open markets, you'll know what you're buying, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds great. I have another actually like very interesting question here. So here we go. Or you know how far along
We have around a 4 diminishing returns the longer you map it out, because the next 6 to 12 months for our battle royale, 12 to 24 months for our sort of virtual world, you know, slightly longer for our open world PvP, and then at the
I think we
Oh, I think we lost.
for a bit, just for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were at the PvP open worlds.
other people includes our user-generated content milestone, where basically we're taking a Minecraft-esque approach or Fortnite-esque approach, where we're going to generate our own, whether that's, you know, parts, accessible worlds, or even new game modes. You know, I think we definitely are looking into ways to make that happen. You know, and basically, as we know, you know, games like Counter-Strike and PUBG were actually mods of, actually was able to mod within our sandbox environment and mod something that was incredibly popular. They would actually be in a position to, you know, basically enjoy the benefits from that as well.
More games, like, you know, just just gives it that more of a roadmap. You know, we are going to be at the beginning of the alpha launch. Would you care to share, you know, any more info on this? And yeah, is the game release, the alpha, the same as the early access, or are these two different dates?
So basically, just to clarify a couple of the dates that you mentioned just now, I think the June milestone that you were talking about is sort of our aim, playable, downloadable, building for, and it will allow us and get an idea for, and just generally how the gameplay feels. Our hope to actually start, you know, testing a gameplay alpha. And to your point, the alpha is the point at which, you know, our pass holders will be able to, I guess, participate and start exploring and give us a bit of feedback as well, you know, and just basically test. So it'll be an amazing sort of time for everyone that's holding a Genesis 9 to just get involved early and give feedback, because we'll basically be collecting.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, I actually have like one more question. So you guys did a collab recently with the Boba guys. And yeah, could you tell us more about that?
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're super passionate about, you know, being a project
Boba
that's
guys.
more than just a game. We want to get involved in real world. We want to involve both digitally and online. So this Boba guys grab their items, and I'll
Kind of something that we haven't really. Well, we were fortunate enough to our cute little Neon Cats of Web3 gaming into Neon Heroes, explaining exactly what it's about, how to get involved, how to get started. And so we were really fortunate to hear about it. Into it, you can definitely check it out there. But for how we can get our game, our IP out there into the real world. And we actually just found out today that all of our merch across the entire franchise from LA to New York has completely sold out. And you know, it was last an entire month, but you know, the Neon Army kind of just, we definitely see ourselves doing more collaborative partnerships.
super cool. And I don't know if you guys have drank boba before, but it's this really awesome like Asian drink, tea, and
tasty.
like chewy tapioca bowls. So if you guys haven't tried boba, check it out. It's also called bubble tea in other regions. But yeah, Boba Guys is one of the biggest franchise. But soon I got to make my video. That was really exciting.
It's out now. Go watch it on our YouTube channel.
Nice. I mean, hell yeah. I mean, even here in Manila, we actually have, you know, places that sell boba in liter bottles, like in 1 liter bottles. I'm not
What
even kidding.
in liter
my God.
bottles? Oh,
Yep, it kind of stuck. Like you see people like watching it.
I'm not a big Boba fan. One go ask is, you know, it's not currently a blockchain game that you'd love to see be a blockchain game. What would it be?
Ooh.
I already have mine. Definitely Halo. I always grew up playing
Ooh.
Halo, and
Nice.
oh my god, seeing that like
Hell
on the
yeah.
blockchain space, like the NFTs, just oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless.
if it was on the blockchain,
You-
ooh,
Wow.
I'm very excited for that too. But yeah, I just
I was trying really hard to think of what kind of game would work really well on the blockchain, but then I kind of gave up and just ended up going with one of my favorite sort of childhood series, which is the Legend of Zelda series. I was a massive
Nice.
fan,
Yeah.
massive console gamer in my sort of schooling days, and so I kind of grew up with it. And so that would be a Zelda template. That would be just
I think if you look at Zelda, it was primarily a single player game, and I think the concept of having like single player games, can they kind of hold to being a blockchain based game? Like where does the kind of marketplace component come into? Does it need to have support like a kind of blockchain based component? Personally, I don't think that's necessarily always needs to be the case. I think that I think I foresee a world in which trophies and achievements within games could eventually become like non-transferable NFTs that indicate and it kind of starts creating this concept of being more of a kind of filtration tool where you can leverage like take those with you, and then access to early access. Has there ever been a multiplayer Zelda? Is it apart from Super Smash Bros?
oh god, I don't
think there
think
was
so.
one. It was like
I-
a DS game though, I think, that was like
Was
multiplayer.
it?
Yeah, I think so. I remember playing it when I was like with my cousins, and I was like, "What is this?"
A good bit of
I mean, so we are, we are gonna be wrapping up in a few, and of course, like everyone at home, first of all, thank you for coming by tonight. Yeah, we're running a bit, off the schedule, but yeah. Of course, like everyone who's still here, because we had actually, but everyone who stayed, we've been running for about. We have another AMA happening and yeah, we'll be hopping on. Me, I'm pretty convinced because we do want to get the Mechs. We do want to get the Mechs, and we want to get them on time. And I mean,
awesome.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Apex Legends. You had me at Apex Legends, guys.
Okay, that was simple then. We should have just ended it after.
Yeah, exactly. Any game project that references Apex Legends is it's an auto buy for me. Oh hell
So
yeah!
Dana,
Hell yeah.
we're gonna see a whole.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or MMORPG games like behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure like you guys can quality of the team that you have. But yeah, we are very fortunate.
guys, thanks everyone for coming. We can obviously make sure to get some early access to gameplay as soon as that's possible. Let's get you guys back on the show and show some of the gameplay and see how and see if Sedona really has the skills that he says that he has. So
I'm just gonna buy the nicest.
Yes, you'll look.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We had a lot of fun.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
You know
so
how it
much,
is. I'll
guys.
see you guys soon. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.